Alright, I'm attempting to try something with the recorder to try and have myself down in the corner, but I can't actually see myself in the corner, so I don't know how well this is gonna work. This is the coloring of the top half of the Zelda comic I started in the other video. I ended up having to split the comic in half because it was just, there was too much information in the file and my computer was lagging terribly because of it, so I had to split it. In the last video for this where I was doing the outline, I had said that I would explain why I decided to do the comic, whereas in the last one I basically explained the comic itself, like what was going on and the story behind it. So the reason for the comic, to actually create the comic and to do it on such the scale that I'm doing, instead of just doing, okay, this panel for this paragraph, this panel for this paragraph, you know, doing 5 or 6 panels per paragraph, I made the comment before that is a challenge to myself. It's basically me attempting to confront the flaws that I know I have when it comes to art. Because I wanted to do the comic for a long time, and I kept making these excuses about, oh, I don't know how to do that, I can't do this, blah, 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 blah. So basically, this is just me saying, I can't because I never do. So, just do it. These excuses came to, I'm not good at drawing the same character several times, which, you know, was the reason for the pictures of the initial story itself, was getting used to drawing the same 2 characters several times over in different poses and still making them look the same, if that makes sense. Excuse me. So that's one of the big reasons, is just teaching myself how to draw the same thing over and over, but in different ways, because it's something I've always avoided. Just because it's hard to make the same character 3 times in 3 different ways. At least for me. You know, if I were to ever try and become like a concept artist or a storyboard artist or anything like that, I'd need to be able to do that, and I can't do that right now. At least, I don't think I can, not efficiently, hence the comic. Another thing is lighting. If you were to go on my DeviantArt and look at my pictures, one, you would see that I don't really draw the same character several times. The other thing you would see is I almost always have the lighting come from the same place. It almost always comes in from the left side. No matter which way the characters are facing, no matter what's going on, this almost always comes from the left side. And I know I do it, and I've been trying to stop doing it. Like, I've been working on trying to do, like, top-down lighting, which is, for the most part, what the lighting in this comic is at the moment, anyway. Characters, lighting. What was the other thing? There's, like, 2 more things. Oh, backgrounds. Heh, 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 heh. Yeah, and I'll go on my DeviantArt, you won't see very many backgrounds. I can't. They're tedious. One is just they've always felt so tedious to me. And it just, I made the comment in my one Pokemon video that I needed to stop and do something else from this, just because I was getting to the point where I was like, I don't want to work on this anymore. And, you know, it took me a while to get to that point, you know, even though it was like 5 or 6 panels before I got to that point where I needed to stop and take a break. But I do backgrounds and I'm just like, I work on it for 10 minutes and I'm done. So I really need to, or I'll just like go, here's some color, yay, background, and that'll be my background. And again, if I were to ever really try to make a job out of art, you can't do that. So this is me, you know, because in like some comics that I've seen, they just kind of do the really blank background. There's a little something here, and I kind of do that in regular pictures. Excuse me. But again, it's meant to make it's meant as a, I have to make the background. I have to make the full picture in every panel. Yeah, there will probably be 1 or 2 panels down the line where I, for dramatic effect, don't put a background in, or do some kind of bright lighting effect or color or something like that. I'm looking at the screen instead of the camera, and I need to look at the camera because I'm trying to see what's going on. But I don't need to see what's going on because I'm not actually talking about what's going on. Fingers. Okay, camera. Look at the light. What was I saying? Backgrounds. So yeah, this just to get me to do a background and do background and work on, you know, trees and bushes and sky and water and grass and, you know, whatever else ends up in the background. Buildings, because I mean, obviously, if I'm going to be doing a Legend of Zelda comic, there's obviously going to be buildings and temples and monsters and stuff like that. And that's another thing is the creatures. I tend to stay in a safe zone, and if I don't know how to do that, I won't do that. Seeing myself do the belt. I realized after I started coloring everything that I didn't give Link any of his pouches. But I was already like 6 panels into coloring when I realized it. And so I didn't go back and give him any pouches, even though like he'll end up making comments about, actually I don't even, no, it's in the second half of the comic, not the second half of this comic, it'll be the second half of the, never mind. Words are difficult. And I made, again, as an apology, I don't talk very much. I also talk very quietly. Like, I am trying to force myself to be loud right now, because the level I'm speaking at right now is actually a fair higher than I normally do, and my throat's actually already starting to hurt. I also have to remember to breathe when I talk. I don't do that. That's kind of important. Breathe. I'm not looking at the camera again. Look at the camera, Kiki. Look at the camera. Alright, looking at the camera. I should also make the comic, because you've probably noticed every time I shift, the screen does too. I don't have a desk. Right now my laptop is sitting on pillows on my bed, and I'm sitting on my bed. And I need to do it here, because my only good source of light right now is my window. Because my ceiling light is this really warm, dim light, and the only other lights I have in my room are this little lantern that's not powerful at all. But there were other points that I wanted to. La-di-da-di-da. Lighting. Oh, there's another thing about lighting. One of the things I've only just recently figured out. It's like, and it's one of those, how did I not think of this before kind of things. But doing ambient is not the word I want. Outside lighting? I'm gonna call it that. Outside lighting, because all I've really done before is shade the characters like you see me doing here. You know, I've also started doing the whole room lighting thing, which I don't really do in the shading of the characters themselves in the comic. You'll see me kind of add it in later in a different manner. But if you were to go, and I'll put a link to it in the description if you want to go look at it. But I sort of started figuring out, I don't know, like 10, 12 pictures ago, that if I go above the picture itself, like the outline and all that, and do outside lighting, like go over top of the entire picture, and throw in a bit of glow here and a bit of shadow cast here, it makes them look a little bit more like they're in the area. Which is kind of funny that I only just figured this out, because if you go back and look at my very first picture for this, where Link finds Get-A-Him and he's sitting on the sword and he's like sort of see-through, which I just kind of trashed for the comic, because it would have been a whole nother deal of annoyances. But I kind of did it there, and it's like, and I did it in the next picture, and I didn't do it in the third picture, and I'm like looking at the third picture and comparing it to the first two pictures, and I'm like, why does this look so bad compared to the first two pictures? And it took me like 3 months to figure it out. I mean, one of it was just the proportions of Link and Get-A-Him were really bad. But, yeah, it's amazing how much just something little like that can make such a huge impact. Just that little bit of shading that isn't on an object itself, but on the picture, on the area. And it's like you go, I can't believe that I didn't think about that. Because it's excuse me, my leg's falling asleep. But yeah, so that's another thing that I'm trying to do with this comic is get better at using that outside lighting, shading, kind of shadowy stuff. Of, you know, okay, so for this is a downlight, so where does the light ray stop? Where does the shadow start? How do I make the shadow there? Where do you know? Because, like, you know, the sword, it's basically standing up, but it's on a tilt. So how much shadow do I put there if the light's coming straight down? That kind of thing. Trees. You can tell that I was starting to get annoyed with the background and just trying to, like, half-ass it as I went through. Once I got to the trees, it was bad. Camera. Look, I need to make, like, a sign that just says, look at the camera. And, like, when I put my hands up here, you probably can't see them. I have no hands. Like I said, I can't see myself. I know where I'm supposed to be on the screen, but I'm not there. So, I'm really happy with my little chibi Get-A-Him face there. He's kind of cute there. Get-A-Him probably kill me if you hear me call him cute. Don't tell him I said that. So, yeah, that's the reason behind why I wanted to do the comic. It's just to get out of my comfort zone. See, here you can ask me, you see me doing the rim lighting sort of glow thing. And especially with the fact that Get-A-Him's like completely clothed in white and has white hair, the glow effect kind of works really well with him. But I mean, I am still learning. Every day I'm learning. Every day, every time I draw a picture, I'm learning and figuring out just little things. Just looking at other people's arts, I see it and I'm learning about it and implement it myself. But yeah, so that's the top half colored. Look, it's a giant me. This is weird because that's backwards from me. Okay, but I just wanted to make a little note at the end. From now on, I'm going to try and consistently put out a video every Sunday. But what this consistent video is going to be is, it's basically going to be a daily sketch video. Every day I am planning to sketch at least for 20 minutes on a layer of an art rage file, and just, I'll label them day 1, day 2, day 3, blah, 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 blah. And every week I'll compile those 7 sketches together and kind of talk about them and put that up as the weekly video. The reason I want to do the daily sketch video, it's not going to be a daily upload video, it'll just be a daily sketch of that week, so it'll just be a weekly sketch video. But I have seen other people do, like, okay, day 42 sketch, day 43 sketch, day 44 sketch. And I've thought about it, I've just never done it, but I know that it's a really good idea, camera, to sketch every day, at least something small, something random. Doesn't have to be an actual picture, doesn't have to look good, just as long as you're drawing. So I'm gonna start doing that. Probably not gonna see any other Legend of Zelda thing for at least a little while, just because I'm gonna take another small break. I actually should have had this video up like a week ago, but I didn't do any drawing last week, or coloring, or anything last week. It was just stuff. Life and stuff going on. Yeah. So, till next time.